Hi, thanks for watching our channel. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube and follow our page on Instagram at renovating_Vane_cottage for real-time updates. The channel is following the renovation of our 1915 end terrace house, which is getting a full DIY refurbishment by myself, Dave, my wife Alicia and our baby Adina, as well as the two dogs. We've hundreds of videos on here, everything from taking up curtains to installing wood burners and digging trenches for our new drainage. So please help the channel by liking and subscribing, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks again.
Hi, thanks for watching and supporting the channel. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel because it all helps us. We've got loads of other videos out there, so check them out too. We've got an Instagram channel, so go across to that. Renovating_Vane_cottage, and see all our other stuff on there. So anyway, let's go on to the video. So this video, hopefully it's going to be a relatively quick one. What I'm doing is I'm installing some plaster coving. Today it's one of the smallest rooms in the house, just a little office slash bedroom area. Several internal bends and a couple of externals around some boxing, so we'll get to look at a couple of both of them. So really I'm just going to show you how I do the internal bends, how I do the external bends and how I fix the coving up. So not a detailed video, I'm not a cover out, just all DIY. So just a quick overview of how we've done it in here. So the mitre block I'm using, I did try a few different, like throughout the rest of the house, I've tried different ways of doing it. So you can get the fixed mitre blocks. The one I found that worked in the end was a one called a mammoth mitre block. And that's the box for it. It's that long ago, I can't remember even where I bought it from. The Victorian Cornice Company is where the return address is on this, so possibly from them. But it's like I say, it's probably a year when I did the majority of the coving. What's happened is I've come to put the rest of the coving up today. I'm like, how did I do the internals? How did I do the externals? I couldn't remember. I had a look on the channel because I thought I'd already done a video on coving, and it must be my archive footage. I've done it, but I haven't edited it. So I thought I've got a bit better quality camera now. Not when I first started making videos, so I thought, well, I'll just make another quick video on it, and it'll help me remember. So I've got my mitre block. This is the mitre block here. It's fully adjustable, so it does come flat pack, but it's really easy to put together. And this bit here slides in and out. So if you're coving, our coving, I think it's sort of 90 up, and 70 out. So it's not like a square coving. So if you're using a square coving, like a 90-90, it's equal, there's no pattern on it. You might get away with just using the fixed mitre blocks. But once you have a coving that's sort of a different length to projection out, you need the adjustable mitre block, which is what I found out a year ago when I did the rest of the house, hence why I bought this one. So what I'm going to do is, I'll give you a bit of footage of the sort of room with no coving up, and then I'll talk about how I do the different mitres, and we'll go from there. We'll look at sticking it up on the ceiling. So a little bit of an overview of it all the way through. Like I say, just a DIY video, but it does look good in the rest of the house. I'll give you a bit of a pan in here, and you can see some of the stuff I've done last year. Well, this is the coving from last year. I did this. This is one of the lounges. So you can see we've got internal bends, we've got external from fireplace there. Some more internal. So you can see it does look really good once it's up. So you can see here I've just sat the coving in the mitre block. Look along that way. So, like I say, our coving is a 70-90. So it drops down the wall 90mm, which is this gap here, and this is just 70 here. So this opening is 90, and then when it's sat in here, that gives you your 70. So it's about right. I'm wanting an internal cut. So what I do is I use the ruler, and just to make the joining up easier, so when I come to do the next cut, it joins up fairly easy. I have a look with the ruler just to see how the cut's gonna fall, and personally I try to either get it in the centre of one of these bits or the centre of one of the little dart bits, just to sort of get a nice it just makes it easier for joining it when you come to do it next time. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So you can see now with the ruler, when I cut it, it's going to sort of go halfway through the dart bit, and then when I cut the other bit that's going to join up to it, I'll just do halfway through the dart bit again. It makes it nice and easy to join up. Obviously, it might be easier said than done depending on what length you've got, but it's for the majority of the coving I've put up, that's worked, and I've found it's worked very well. So as far as putting the saw in, using a fine-toothed saw. This is just an old wood saw I've got. It's in quite good nick, fine tooth like I say. It's just a bit of superficial rust there, nothing to worry about. And as far as the saw goes, the mitre block wants to be on a nice flat, firm, flat surface. I've got the coving supported at the other end just so it's relatively level throughout. Making sure it's sat nice and flat in the mitre block itself, and then I'm just going to cut it, letting the saw do the work. So I'm not going to force the saw or anything like that, just let the saw nicely, slowly cut through it, and that should work out well. Well, hopefully I'll get a bit of an aerial view as I'm doing this. I'm just holding the coving in nice and lightly. I've double checked my measurements again, so I'm just making sure that nothing's moved, which it hasn't. Still set to 90. And I've already checked the other end. So I'm going to cut it, like I say, nice and easy with the saw, making sure I go through the 45. And that's it really. And there we are, nice really clean cut. What I'm going to go down and do now is measure up in the room it's going in from corner to corner, just double check what length I need. I'll do the other end, and then I'll show you it going up into the going up onto the ceiling. And then once I've got all the internals done, I'll then quickly show you an external. But the external is basically the opposite cut, so that would work. The external, the off cut there, so we'll keep them for later. So I'm in the room where we're going to install a coving now. You can see I've put a line, so I'm trying to mark the ceiling, but the ceiling's a mile out, so it's fairly alright. There, it's fairly level. That's fairly level. That's fairly level. It's maybe 5mm different in the ceiling height from that. Problem is, when we come round to here, it's maybe 10mm out, 15mm. So basically what we'll have to do is just see what we can do as we're putting it up. But it just shows you an old house, stuff's all over. Anyway, we'll go and get the coving and we'll look at how we fix it up. Now, you'll see the trick with this. I've got the first couple up there. Now, them joints certainly aren't perfect. tiny little bit chipped off the bottom and that. Just don't get too het up with it. As long as it's fairly symmetrical, fairly decent, by the time we get this up and adhesive done, it'll look absolutely immaculate. Because when I done it the first time round, I was getting like tied up, we're getting it, you know, to the millimetre, and then it just doesn't work. So just got to get it so it looks about right. So at the minute it's just pinned up. I should have said that. It's just pins in there. It's just butted up to there. A couple of pins in the middle. So I'm going to go around, do it all the way around the room. I'll get the rest of these internal ones done. So there's another internal there. And then once we get to a couple of external cuts here, I'll do them on the mitre block, which is basically the opposite. So the only thing I'm doing is, like I said before, I'm making sure that when I'm doing the joint, it's sort of symmetrical on the other side, so it butts up nicely. So I'll zoom in on that so you can see it, hopefully. You can see what I'm talking about. It's certainly not perfect, but it's butted up nicely. By the time we get some adhesive in there, it'll look absolutely spot on. And then once it's painted, you can never know. It looks like it's always been there. Right, so all the internals are done. Like I said, I know there's a little bit of a gap here and there, but won't worry about that. You'll see at the end that'll all be gone. There's only a couple of tacks as well holding it up, so it will push up more in places. Any little chip bits, all that'll be gone. So a couple of externals now, or I suppose another 2 internals and 1 external. So I'm going to go and do that now, and I'll show you that on the mitre. So it's basically just the opposite to what we've already done, but I'll give you a quick little bit of footage just so you can see that. And again, we can see the pattern there, and we're just looking to copy the same pattern basically. So what we're left with there on the left hand side, so like maybe half of the barbell type shape. That's what we want to copy on our next one. We'll go and do that now. So I'm just doing the external bends now. And basically, all we need for the external is sort of the opposite cut to what we had before. So if we put it in the mitre saw, well, we would have sort of cut down and discarded this bit, which is this bit. This is now the bit that we want to keep. So I've already done this one. So you can see I've had it in the mitre saw. I've cut down. I've measured the same as before from the internal corner to where the external corner is. I actually held this one on a little bit long. So I cut the internal corner, I held this on a little bit long. So, I took this full length up, so it was like that originally. I marked on the back of it where the external corner was going to go, and then I come down here and I cut it, so that's my external. So I'm now going to cut the opposite cut to this. So basically this cut, this isn't the one, there's a bit of scrap, but this cut, which will then give me that shape when it's all joined up. And I'm looking to match this pattern up. So I'm looking for this side of the mitre block. This will be the bit I keep, this will be the bit of discard. So basically the opposite way around to before. I'm using the ruler, just get the pattern where I want it. So I've matched the pattern up, put it down, over the pattern matched up.
can see there, and hopefully you can see that, the nice match that. So now what we need to do is measure from this corner to where the internal's going to go, put the last internal on. I know that's 150mm, so I need to measure 150mm in, do my internal cut, and we'll go match it all up. Right, so we're now dry fitted. Like I said, you can see there's some gaps, some bigger than others, quite a big one there, but I'm not worrying about that at the minute. But it's up, and all the patterns match up. Like I was saying when I was doing the mitre and before, the very final one I've done is that one there, that biggish one, which you're not going to see because that's the door you're coming into. So the one that you want to be very nice is this one here, because that's probably the first one you're going to see, and that is a good join. That I know there's a little bit of a gap there, but it's just how it's sat. You can see I've only got a couple of pins holding it, so that's how it is. So next task is to mix up some adhesive, and this is the adhesive I'm using. So just a proper Coving adhesive. Got my little bowl there, so I'll just mix it up in that as per the instructions. And then what I use is a piping bag to put it onto the actual Coving itself, and I'll dampen the Coving with a bit of cold clean water just out of that bucket before I put the adhesive on, just so it doesn't suck the moisture out of it straight away, and it gives us a few minutes to mess about with it. So I've got my Coving there on the trestles. I've got my piping bags, which I'm going to fill with the adhesive. Just put a bit along the top edge, a bit along the bottom edge. I know it's not conventional, but it works for me, so that's what I'm going to do. And I've got my bucket of water, so what I'm going to do to begin with is dampen the Coving off. Plenty of water on it. Just let it sort of suck up the water, and then it doesn't suck the adhesive as dry as quick, so you get a bit longer to mess about with it. It's quite cool at the minute. It's sort of January time in the UK, so it's not overly hot at the minute. But when I was doing the other stuff in summer, it was a nightmare. I'm going to give that a minute or so to let it soak, and then to get the adhesive in here, I've mixed it up. I've left it 5 minutes as per the instructions. I'll just use a spoon to get in. Like I say, it's definitely not conventional, but it works for me. I've done this on the full house. It worked really good. Least messiest way I found to do it. Keep some in the bowl, just a little bit at a time. As you can see, I've put it down the edges that are going to be in contact with the wall. I'm not messing about because I don't want it to set. And I'll put my tacks back in. I mean, it is sort of holding up there very slightly, but I'll put my tacks back in just to hold it in place so it sets properly. And then any excess, where I've got excess on the ceiling, that just comes off with a sponge, as long as you don't let it set too much. So I'm going to get a couple of bits off, and then I'll go around and sort of sponge it a bit. Here, as you can see, I've taken the tacks out now. Maybe it's been up 2 or 3 hours, taken all the tacks off, and I've tidied it up the best I can. But as you can see where the tacks are, for example, I'm getting any closer. It's up there. See the little holes they need filling, so that's what this mix is for now, just to fill them little holes. So let's get that in, get them filled, and then that'll be this done really. You can see that the joint have all turned out really well, so I'm really pleased with them. It might need a little bit of filler in odd ones, but you can see there's no need to sort of worry as you go on, because a bit of filler in there and a bit of patience, you'll never know. And especially once it's all painted, it looks spot on. That's the filler and goes. Got my piping bag, little hole in the bottom of it. Basically a dab on round where the hole was for the tack. And then just with a flat sort of scraping knife I'm using there. And just... You can't see that at all, and I'll do that with them all. If there was any bit I wasn't overly happy with, I'd get the sponge and sponge it. So like in the corners, I put it in with the piping bag and then I just run the sponge over it nicely. And where there was any gaps, I went along with the piping bag, pushed it in with this and my finger, and then sponged it, and it's nice now. So I'll get all that done. And here we have the finished article. So you can see I've took the pins out, I've fillered it, a bit of a clean round. So I'm pleased with that. So like I say, take your time. Obviously the joins need to be somewhere near, but I wouldn't lose any sleep if there was a little bit of a gap, because as you can see, it's completely disappeared now. And obviously the adhesive's a little bit different colour to the clothing, which makes it stand out a little bit. But once it's all painted, you literally won't know at all. So I'm really pleased with that. So once again, thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. I'll keep putting loads of different ones on. So keep coming back and checking them out. And don't forget to look at our Instagram as well. Thanks very much.